Hello.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so today we're going to talk about OTB.
Yes, the open to buy. So the last session we spoke of the sales forecasting, how there are different techniques of arriving at the sales
Right.
and how you project that number. And following that, once you have your sales forecasted number,
Hmm.
you create your OTB based on it. So
Yes,
yeah, it's a value that lets you know that this is what the stock needs to be bought for. So the
that's right.
value that's open to buy, that
Open
as
to
the
buy.
term yeah explains.
Yes,
But it's all based on retail value, nothing on cost.
that's true.
Yeah, and yeah. So the open to buy is once you've determined your sales,
Hmm.
um, you would. I'm just going to touch base on what I have done in the past. So
Yeah,
we would, like in retailers, I've seen that we would maintain a seasonal OTB. So which would give us an indication of how much to order for that season. And then once you are in that season, we would have a weekly OTB, which would be against the actual sales. And if there were any openings, if we were falling short on sales, or if we were on target, we needed more inventory in certain categories, that is exactly what the document would let us know. So a few of what's happening with stock and sales, whether you need to order more inventory or whether you need to like hold up an order and not overstock. And if there was a possibility of canceling a particular order, we would. So
yeah,
that's generally what it is. So in terms of the values that you need, how do you build an OTB is very simple when you think of it. There are certain values that you require. One is the sales, so your projected sales, plus your desired closing stock, which can also be referred to as base stock, or the kind of inventory that you always need to maintain, especially for your brick and mortar store. There is never going to be a time when your stores are going to be absolutely empty. So at any given point of time, they will carry certain inventory. So that becomes your closing stock, desired closing stock, or base stock, whatever you want to call it. And then retailers would also put in there a value of markdown. So planned markdowns. So beginning of the season or before the season begins, you would have an idea of what the depth of cut would be, which is the percent by which you offer discounts, and what the value your discounted merchandise would take. So all this, you add all of this up, and then you subtract your opening stock. So the stock that you're currently sitting on. So it would be done on current day. So the day you're creating the OTB, today what stock is in hand in the warehouse, in the stores, and if there are any orders, you would also subtract that, and then it would give you a value. So this is at the beginning of the season, but obviously once you're trading the season, you already have something on order.
that's true.
Yeah.
So you're saying that OTB is a mechanism um, where there is an option to correct the order size so that there is enough stock. There is no overstocking. There is no understock over the weeks. So it's a
Yes, when
correct
you're
mechanism.
trading, yes. Only when you're trading, but at the beginning of the season, it's not
When
about
you say trading,
overstocking.
what do you mean by trading?
So once you plan the season, then your inventory arrives and you start trading it. So if you forecasted sales for July onwards for this year and you've planned it. So right now it's like a planned season, but once you're in July, it becomes your trading season. Then you're trading that season.
Mm-hmm.
So autumn winter. So
When
right
you're
now,
actually selling.
yeah. So when you're actually selling it. So I have seen OTBs which are done prior to the season based on all the planned numbers. That this is the total sales we want to take. This is the core stock that we should always core or base stock that we should always maintain. So you're planning. But once you reach the season and you've placed certain orders, because this seasonal OTB will give you the actual buying requirement.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're doing it for the season, it gives you the requirement to buy. When you're trading the season, it tells you where overstock is happening, where you're running out of inventory, where you need to order a little extra, or where you need to cancel and order completely, if that's a possibility, or maybe mark it down because you've decided what value you need to achieve. So you know that the planned markdown value, and if
Mm.
you're like sitting on too heavy covers on certain styles, then you can also like see, have you already consumed that markdown value by promoting or discounting these lines in mid-season sale, let's say, or offering a weekend discount. So I mean, it gives you quite a lot of things to look at, and I think it gives you a lot of power to correct your stock.
Correct the stock, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's a tool to correct the inventory if you've overshooted or if you were too
Yeah.
underbought.
Yeah.
Then over the season, then you can so that you don't have an opportunity cost. You don't end up with no stock in the store, and then you don't get into an opportunity cost where
Correct.
people came, but then there was no merchandise. And on the other hand, also that you just did not get into too aggressive buying,
Yeah.
and you had too much stock, and then you're ended up with too much inventory that needs to be marked down at the end of the season.
Correct. Yes.
Mm. So
Yes.
that's
And
so it's an interesting
yeah.
corrective mechanism. Yeah, yeah.
And I think that every company like adapts it to their requirements, the kind of data that is available to them. Because a lot of new retailers don't have, sometimes it's only quantity that's available, and then you have MRPs, the retail prices, and then you don't have the value of inventory because nobody thinks of it that way. But the OTB is based on the value of the retail value of stock in hand, not just quantity. Because you could have like 1,000 pieces, but in value terms, it's different. You could have like 100 pieces, but it's a volume generating product. Then the value is very small. So you know
Mm-hmm.
how like vis-a-vis the sales target.
Yes.
So it's based on values, and then yeah,
Yeah,
th-
makes sense
that's the
because
lens you look at it.
another reason why it makes it value is because OTB is open to buy, right? Like you need money to buy, and then
Mm-hmm.
it has to be based on value because it is the amount of money that's available for a buyer to make purchase decision. So so
Yeah,
they have to see it in terms of how much money that they have in their pocket or in their account, so to speak, to buy for their category. So that's also one of the
yeah,
reason why I think, yeah,
yeah,
because if they do it in quantity, sometimes margins are different for different merchandise. Then you might end up thinking that you have money, but then
yeah,
you don't
yeah,
even have that money
yeah.
in your kitty.
Yeah, and it's a very good tool because so if you're coming out of a season, if you're like just marking down one of the seasons, you would notice that this is the planned markdown, but we overshot it. We had to mark down more. We had to give away more value in discount because whatever we had bought did not perform. We were overstocked on this category. So now when you buy for the next season, you have this history. You have, so it becomes your decision making. The tool helps you make future decisions as well when you're planning another season.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so once you forecasted your sales and you look at your weekly OTB after that, you start putting in the OTB will be based on your actual sales that's happening,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
what you project for the next. So in the trading period, you're doing that. So it's a very important tool. I think for merchandising and buying, it's very, very important. And then even for finance, I think it just it ties in all of the functions.
Mm. Makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. So I have an OTB sheet. Maybe I'll share and I'll tell what. So this is the sheet that I made when I was guest lecturing for NIFT. This I made it like quite some few years back. I think around 18 years back. I think I made this sheet. So and it's
Okay.
relevant even for today.
Yeah.
So it took me some time because for me to remember the entire thing. Yeah, but then I think I got it. Fine. Yeah. So here. So here, so I have not done the open to buy as such. So this is a purchase. So I can make an um, additional cut and paste here, and then so here OTB should come basically. OTB is should be coming. I'll explain in a bit because I just
Yeah.
thought that way. Yeah. Yes. Yes. And then I'm just a little. Yeah. Okay. So what happens is that in this example, how I had explained is there is the last year's sale and there is a current targeted sale that you decide at the beginning of the season. So I've done a seasonal OTB, which is like a monthly OTB, and so
Yeah.
that people can uh, uh, we can understand how it is. It's happening at a very macro level because I did not want it. Ideally, OTP is done on a weekly basis, like how you had said. But then in this example, I've done it on monthly just for an easy explanation bit
And
of
this
it.
is like a top line. It's not like category. Like an OTB could also have
So
like
this
all
is
the
yeah.
categories listed,
Yes, yes. This is not a
one
category. This
after
is
the
the
other. Yeah.
entire. Yes, this is
Yeah.
the entire bit of it. Just to make things absolutely easy, I have done this so that we get the picture, the bigger picture, and then over a period of time, then you can the same thing, the same rule applies for even the smaller bit of it. Yeah. So I'm sorry. Yeah. So there is this annual sales for the entire brand or the entire category, and then there is a projected sales. These are
Yeah.
all projected. So from the annual sales, again, we get into the monthly sales.
Yeah.
So monthly sales, then we also get into the monthly contribution, which is the percentage
The
of
total.
how much it sold to the annual sales. That's what was
Yeah. Yeah.
calculated. So
Yeah.
that's the contribution of the annual sales. So this is basically percentage. But I did not 12, 12 meaning it's 12%. Yeah. So because I'm already multiplied by 100, so it
Yeah.
means that it's 12%, right? 12%, 3%, 3.9, 5.5, and so on and so forth. I'll just do only a one digit. So these are all in percentage. This is in
With
value, of
July
course.
being your biggest month.
July, yeah, I
And
have
Feb.
forecasted July being my
Yeah.
biggest month for some
Yeah.
reason because I think July in India,
Yeah.
there's a lot of sale that happens.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
for
that
some
would
reason.
take into account here that that
This
month
is
would
a
take into
kind of
account
an
your
actual,
sales.
yeah, mock actual, very close to the actual number. So
Yeah.
then you do a current projected. This is also current projected sale. This is because how I calculated this is 12.6 percentage of the last year's sale.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, for the projected total sale also, I'm taking a 12.6 and I'm saying that this should be the monthly sale. These are
Yeah.
all projected numbers. I'm saying that the annual every month on month or so in most of the businesses they do week on week. Week one will be matched with year to date, right? Week YTD. Week one will be matched to the previous year week one. Week two will be matched to the previous year week two, and week three will be matched to the previous year week three. So here I've just done match to the previous year month one, month two, month three, which is Feb, March, whatever that is. And then this is a 12.5 of the current sales. That's what I had done. So
So
now,
this
now
is this is sorry. This is one way of like creating your sale, doing your sales forecasting. Like in the previous sessions we did discuss that there are lots of ways of
so this is very,
yeah,
this is just
yeah.
a way to
We're just
explain.
extrapolating like based on previous
Yeah,
sales,
in
the trend.
macro.
So here we
Yes,
are actually like just building on the trend that we're seeing.
yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah.
just a macro thing. This is not an accurate, exact way
But
that
this is
because
one of the ways, yeah. Like for a
but
category where you're not changing anything, this is what you'll do.
So in detail,
Yeah.
I think last our last live we did it in detail about how to do the projected sales and the current thing. But this is just I've just done just to explain this because already there are many things going to come. So I did not want it to complicate at each step. But ideally, it's a complex step at each step, and you need at least a week or 10 days or even 2 weeks to even derive each thing for to get this complete Excel sheet. But I just did it so that I can teach in the class in like less than 3 hours what OTB is. So that was the whole objective. So there's a lot of shortcuts that I had done in between. Yeah, so this is the projected sales that's
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
and then so there is this bill of there is this beginning of the month, which is the
Which is
opening
also
stock,
called opening stock. Yeah. Yeah.
opening stock for the entire category of the opening, the ideal. So this is all ideal because this is all projected. So this is all ideal. So all of this is ideal except for this actual sales, which is not. This is the actual sales, which is the actual, and this is the and actual sales. I've not even written the actual sales. I'll just explain you how this whole thing goes. Yeah, so now there is a beginning of the month. The beginning of the month is I have a stock cover of 6 weeks, which means the beginning of the month should have entire this month sale and half of the next month sale. That should be the
Okay.
beginning of the month because I have a cover of
Okay.
6 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
So you've built in your base stock or desired closing stock into this.
yeah,
Yeah.
first I'm trying to, yes,
Yeah.
I'm trying to do
Okay.
the thing, and then
Yes.
yeah, and then I'm
I think
trying to do.
once you're like familiar with the OTB, you can like club your formulas together. But I think, yeah,
So
yeah.
then, so the opening stock is basically 6 week cover. So on an ideal scenario, February 6 week cover at the beginning of February, they should have the entire February and the half of March they should have. So that's why I have written this is the projected beginning of the month, and then the projected sales are so on and so forth, which I just copied from exactly whatever that I calculated. I just calculated, and then I just copied this column, the 7 into 13. So then there is an actual sale, which we will talk about a little later. Then there is the balance stock. Balance stock is the closing stock. So in some places they call it closing stock. Somewhere they call it balance stock. I don't know why. I think in one of the textbooks it was written balance stock. So because I was teaching the students, so I wanted to keep it academically correct. So I had written balance stock. So this is the balance stock. Balance stock is nothing but your beginning of the month and the sales of that month. So now this is, so ideally speaking, the cover of the balance stock is only half of the month because we've taken the opening of the month as 1.5 month, and then the sale has happened. Then the balance stock will be half of this month only, which is 56 million, right? Is it 56? 56,000. 56,000.
Yeah.
No, this is 86,000. 56 million. For this 56 million, this is 56 million divided by 2 is 28 million, right? But then we need additional one more month because we need to keep the stock turn cover to be the same. So what we do is we kind of take this month and half of the next month we calculate as the end of the month stock, which means that if this has to be the end of the month, so that to maintain the same cover, we and in this case I've taken a 3 months cycle for the order and the merchandise to come, the shipping and all of that, manufacturing shipping time to the store. I've taken 3 months. So to get this quantity, the purchase should happen at around November itself for February, right? Ideally, because 1, 2, and 3, third month, end of the third month, end of November, it has to happen to come for to so that the stock comes at the end of the. So these are ideal numbers. So ideally, for this has to be the beginning of the month, which is 1.5 month. This is the ideal sale, and this is of course after the sale what is there in the stock, and then but then we cannot carry this forward to the next month because we will run out of no inventory, so we have to add up some stock. So that stock is again 1 month and half a month of this April, that has to be there to get this number ideal. Then we need to purchase 3 months back, which is the whatever that is that we have minus whatever that we want minus whatever we have is what we have to purchase. So this is the planned purchase that I have done. So the planned purchase happens every 3 months. For this 6 months I have done planned purchase 3 months ahead. So this November is planned purchase for now. February, December is March, January is April, and so on and so forth. So similarly, I have built the entire every month. So if you understand February, then I've just copy paste the same formula pretty much every single month. I have done the same thing except for the purchase, which is like 3 months I've copy pasted before. Now comes the complex part, which is now there will be an actual sale that will be there, which will be equal to this, or maybe it can be more or it can be less. If the
Mm-hmm.
actual sales is more, then it means that you are going to have less stock for March.
Yeah.
But then we cannot correct it in that same month because our lead time is 3 months. Because from the date of purchasing, we can only, if there is a stock, less stock in March, we can only correct to May because the month that we are purchasing in March is going to only affect in May. So then we do the, so that is where the OTB comes. If we oversold, that means that we were too conservative, we bought less, but we oversold, then we have to buy something more so that we can correct the stock in all the stores only in the month of May, because we have another complexity, which is the lead time from the purchase to the uh,
Hmm.
wherever it is coming. So that's one case. So in case if we sold less, then we end up more stock in March. Then we have to do is, then there's a negative OTB, which means that whatever that we plan purchase for May, we have to take out certain styles, certain risky styles, only styles which we are very sure that is going to come, we can buy. So we'll have to reduce certain purchases for May so that we correct the stock in the month of May or whatever that. So here I've taken 3 months, which is ideal for, there are fast fashion brands which can
Yeah.
which can actually get the merchandise in less than 3 months, also maybe in 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks. Then we can correct the stock in 6 weeks. Much then OTB becomes very powerful, and we can
Mm-hmm.
correct every 6 weeks also. So here I've taken 3 months. So then if you overshot, then we have to reduce this planned purchase to a lesser purchase. So this will be a negative number, so that we correct the stock in May. So that's how we keep correcting the stock in the store using the tool called OTB. But we cannot correct it immediately, but we'll correct it in the next 3 months, and slowly and gradually. And that's why, so it can be because there's a lead time, there's a factor of lead time, and because we cannot correct uh, our over purchase or under purchase immediately. That's why we have so many other, like we had done so many live calls, that why we need to see cover stock through, why do you have to do market research, and how much core the category percentages, all of that happens because there is a very big threat that we have, which is which a limitation that we have in the business, which is the lead time, because we cannot correct the stock immediately. So this is the OTB that I sheet that I created long ago, but it still I think makes sense when I'm explaining. So that's
I think, yeah, yeah. And once you start using the tool, you might want to look at your forward sales when you are actually trading the season and you see there's a trend, there's a different trend of sales happening, that your sales is less than, actual sales is less than the forecasted one, what you had planned, so not the forecasted one, but the planned one. Then you can like tweak it, make changes. You can like calculate your covers. You can see what your average sales are looking like. So there are different columns that can be added, but broadly, those are the ones that we
Yeah,
need.
the one that you explained, you had also said that we have to add markdowns also, monthly markdowns, because
Yes.
if you overshot, then maybe some things we can mark down, and then so we don't strictly decrease the purchase. We
Yeah.
keep
Yeah.
purchasing, but we decrease we certain categories we mark
Yeah.
it down, and then we can adjust the stock through markdowns also. So
Yeah.
that's adding another layer of complexity
Yes.
in the
Yes.
OTP.
Exactly.
So I
Because
have
I
taken
think,
all of that, yeah.
yeah, like in the conversation that we had, where Shrishti was also there, where she said that the discussion on margins. So the margins always get a go ahead from finance. So you know that irrespective of how you've traded your season, whether you sold full price or you've marked it down, you've promoted certain lines, this is a certain amount of margin that you have to earn. So that KPI is like set prior to the trading season. So you know what? Once you've traded those 6 months, you more or less know that this is how much you want to give away as value, where you're not
Yes.
selling as full price. But anything where you feel you're overstocking because you're running out of stock, or of how to buy for the following season in that category.
Yeah.
And any understocks, they quickly like become visible over here. Comparison against categories becomes visible over here. This is an indicator of how you've done as a buyer. And if a category is only dominated by a vendor, then this also gives you an idea like which vendors you can work with in case you want some inventory to arrive immediately. So you know, like if there are certain vendors who can fulfill it, but some retailers where we would put orders for the next 6 months, there we would ask them to, in case we needed that inventory, we would just ask them. So we would be looking at shipping reports and we would ask them, can you ship it instantly? Can you air ship it? We are falling short. So, then those become the conversations out of the OTB.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
That's nice. Yeah. Yeah. That's nice. I think we've completed we had 12 live right now,
Yeah.
Snigdha. I think I shared you something, the Alex Hermosi's shorts, right? That if you, how many videos, he said, how many lives that you do, you become top 1%. You remember? I think I shared it with you, right?
Yeah, I think there was a number that he tells, but I
Yeah.
don't want to like quote it in case I'm wrong. Was it like one every single day or
No,
no?
did I
That's
send you
too
that
much.
video? Did I share it with you in did I share it with you in WhatsApp? Where did I share? I'm trying to search
You must
that
have shared it here, yeah, on WhatsApp.
WhatsApp. I can't find it. Okay.
What do you want me to see?
Because I've been sharing other links. Ah, yeah, I got it. Yeah,
Hmm.
this is data simplified now. No, not sure. Yeah, okay. So we've done, this is like the 12th live. I think we've kind of completed on the concepts that we were talking about, right? Retail math, and there are three things that we want to talk, which is retail math, market research, and merchandise management, which is planning, control, and price strategies. I think we've kind of
Covered
uh,
most of them, yeah, yeah.
yeah, covered most of them, and then we're good to go. This is going to also become, we're going to make a structured course. Of
Yeah,
course, there will be some production
yeah,
expenses that is going to be paid. So
yeah.
we will release a structured course also.
And we'll be
And
like deep diving. So this is
uh,
like mostly introducing the concepts
exactly, yeah.
as detailed as we can on a conversation.
On
But
content.
yeah, but there are things like demand planning, or when you're like actually planning your quantities and you're
Mhm.
building it back to OTP. There's a lot of back and forth and that happens.
Right.
Then there's a document that is very popular here. It's called the WISI, the Weekly Intake Stock and Sales Report.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so I mean, we can have like those
Those also,
deep
right?
dives later.
I
Yeah.
was 21 podcast. 21 podcast is top 1%. We've
Also, we're
just
like 10, 11,
we've
9
done
podcast short. This is the 12th one today.
this is 14, and the one that
Oh, this is
I've
14.
is 15. So we've done totally 15.
Okay. So not that far then.
Not 14, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 into 3, no. 12. 12 plus 1, 13 we've done, not 14.
Okay. So 8 more to go.
Yes. Yes, 8 more to go.
Yeah. So like I said, that there is a WISI that's used here.
Mm.
Weekly sales and stock and intake. WSSI is the short form of it, which is quite a common document here in the UK, because it's such a organized retail industry.
Mm.
But I think we must have used like variations of it, not
How,
called it by
yes.
the same name. Yeah. So
So
it
what
is
does
weekly sales, stock, and intake. So
weekly
weekly
say?
sales, whatever the sales is happening, and then what is the stock on hand, and what is the intake. Intake is what is coming
Intake
in. Yeah.
is the end of the one that I've written end of the month. But some of
Yeah.
the terminology that I've taken is from a British author only. It
Okay.
is from some book, I think. Yeah. So I think the jargons, people use different
Yeah.
language in different. In fact, in the same city, in different
Yeah.
organizations also. Intake is basically whatever that I did. EOM is the
Yeah.
intake.
Yeah. I think yeah, the Viz is just like it just tells you that the relation between sales and stock, sales versus stock, you're always checking that, and then not just stock in hand, but also stock that is yet to arrive, that is on order, which will be coming in, and you do it
Mm.
like weekly. You're updating this document, and it's
Yeah.
again like a very detailed view of what you have.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think, yeah, so Busy and OTB are like very important documents for the buying and merchandising, but the rest, all the planning, the strategy work, all that, yeah, goes hand in hand.
So it's also all the other things kind of works together for us to get that OTB uh, thingy, right?
Yeah,
Like we work on the in fact all the calls that we did, all the strategy are all put together. It comes to basically uh, the one that you told, which is the end of the month,
yeah,
and the OTB
yeah,
that. So OTB is the culmination of all the understanding about the entire understanding about the business, because at the end of the day we'll have to correct the stock, the right stock has to be there in the store so that people
yeah,
can buy.
yeah. But the OTB and the Visi are documents or tools, let's call them tools, which are predominantly managed by, created by, and owned by the buying and merchandising team.
Right, yes.
They are like tools that you need on a daily basis to see what's going on with your category. The rest, like where we were talking about building a product assortment strategy, you can like talk to marketing function, you can talk to the store teams, you can get some feedback, you can go to market and do research. So they are quite different, but this is a document that you own, and in one shot you get an answer of what's going on with your category. And I
Yeah.
don't know, like maybe other functions also use it, or maybe they might need some view of it. But yeah, predominantly owned by the
Yes.
buying and merchandising team. So that is one. Planning the demand planning, which I guess is a term that's mostly um, used by the supply chain, or you can also say, yeah, supply chain. So demand planning, I think demand planning is another thing that we haven't touched base on, but it encompasses like everything, not just what retail requires, but even if you are a brand or a retailer, that not a retailer, if you're a company that retails and wholesales, then the demand planner is actually forecasting everything that's required,
Right.
what is needed by, and mostly it's done on those core lines,
Hmm.
so that you're never out of stock on those crucial categories. So, how you build that number? And I'm just trying to think what else have we not spoken of, which is important. End of season sale planning, maybe.
Oh, end of season, I think we did not talk about markdowns.
We haven't spoken of markdowns because markdown always is another essential thing. Like, when do you go into markdowns? Usually, retailers would have a certain day, which goes in hand with the
Oh,
marketing calendar.
maybe
That this
next
is
time
the
we can
day.
talk about markdown.
But there can be like questions on that. Maybe we will just do a soft launch because we're sitting on too much inventory. Some categories we need to like start promoting a couple of weeks earlier or a month early. And now I think, at least here, I don't know about India. So for Christmas is like a bigger trading season, like autumn winter is a bigger season here. And we've caught on with Black Friday, the November sales, followed
Mhm.
by Cyber Monday. So, those are kinds of things. So it just pushes, like, if every retailer is going into those sales, then you need to identify what are you offering you, because you still want to cash in on the footfall. People are looking for good discounts. So,
That's
those peak trading weeks, and how do you plan for those markdowns? Maybe, yeah, we can have a conversation on markdowns.
markdowns, yeah.
Yeah,
How do you do markdowns, right? And what are the categories that you need to do markdowns, steep markdowns? What
yeah.
categories that you can maybe trade uh, for the next season also?
Yeah, and that sales by style, like that report, the reporting document, the reporting tool, which gives you a weekly glimpse into what's selling and what's not, which has your sell throughs, your rate of sales, your weekly average sales, total stock in hand, what's sitting in the warehouse. That becomes like a document which gives you an idea of where the markdowns, what should be marked down.
Yeah, yeah. I think rate of the sale, if you just see the first 10 days ROS, you will know which stylist has to be marked
Yeah,
down.
and you have like a forward cover, and you also know that going forward, you'll end the season in the next 12 weeks. You have your windows of selling period also listed there. So you know how many weeks you still have trading weeks left in that season. and what you're ending with. And then there are different strategies. If you feel that it is a style that I might want to flow into the next season, I don't want to discount it yet. Maybe this is something that might sell a little when we are transitioning the seasons, and then it can go into the mid-season sale of the next. Sometimes it's just a matter of giving it some more time on shelf life, because right now whatever it's competing with is eating up the sales. But when it sits on the shop floor on its own, it might sell, it might work. So
Yeah,
yeah, there are like different strategies and ways of looking at it.
that's true.
So
Yeah,
we should have that conversation going forward. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
cool, cool.
All
I think,
right.
yeah,
So I think
that's
that,
right. I think with next session, maybe we'll catch up on Monday. Tomorrow is Friday, right? Like we'll
yeah.
discuss about whatever that next
Yeah.
session.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll meet and then we'll
Okay.
discuss maybe markdown. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
All right. Bye bye. Bye, everybody.